the first fall, and a wake-up call. Family, today we've got to talk about Adam and Eve, the very first man and the very first woman. This is about the beginning of humanity, and I need you guys to hear me. This story is not just ancient history. This is our story. This is the story of temptation, consequences, and choices. This story is so powerful. This is the story of why life is the way it is right now. In the beginning, God formed Adam from the dust of the ground. Then he breathed life into him. And then Adam became a living soul. God planted Adam in Eden. Perfect. Paradise. No stress, no sickness, and no pain. Just peace. Just provision. And just the presence of God. Can you imagine that, family? But God said, it's not good for man to be alone. So he created Eve from Adam's rib, not from his head to rule over him, and not from his feet to trample on him, but from his side to walk beside him. He created her from his rib, close to his heart. Together, they were whole. They were blessed. Together, they had everything. The boundary. But in the garden, God gave one command, one test of obedience, just one. God said, you can eat from every tree that I've made here, but you cannot eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He gave them one warning. God said, for the day that you eat of that tree, you will surely die. God gave them freedom, but also God gave them boundaries. Because love without choice is not love. To be honest with you, what God wanted was their loyalty. He wanted their trust, and he wanted their obedience. The serpent's voice. And here comes the serpent, smooth and subtle and crafty. And he slid up to Eve and he asked her, did God really say you can't eat from any tree? If you've noticed already, family, the question that he asked her came with trickery, and it's manipulative. God clearly said, don't eat from that tree. But see how he already switched it up a little bit and said, did God say you can't eat from any tree? You're already playing games. And family, that's how temptation always works, right? The enemy wants to come and twist the truth. He wants to plant doubt. He makes you question God. Eve looked at the fruit. The Bible says that she saw it was good fruit. It was so pleasant to her eyes and desirable to make one wise. She was so curious about that fruit. And right there in that moment, she gave in. She ate it. She ate the apple. And she handed it to Adam. He ate it too. The shame and the fall. Their eyes were open. And for the first time in human history, you guys, they felt shame. They saw their nakedness. And they tried to cover themselves with fig leaves. When God came walking in the garden, they hid. The same God that walked with them in love and light. Now they hid from him in fear, scared and trembling. And there you have it. Sin entered the world. Death entered the world, along with pain, betrayal, and struggle. It all began right there, family. Right there. The consequence. God confronted Adam. Where are you? He wasn't asking because he didn't know. He was asking because he wanted Adam to confess. Of course, Adam blamed Eve. Eve blamed the serpent, and the curse was pronounced. The curse was for the serpent to crawl on your belly, destined for defeat. For Eve to have pain in childbirth and to struggle in relationships. For Adam to sweat, toil, and struggle just to survive. And then they were banished out of Eden, and they were told never to return. The hope in the fall. In the judgment, God gave them hope. It's right there in Genesis 3:15. God promised that one day the seed of woman would crush the serpent's head. That was the first prophecy of Jesus. Even though Adam and Eve fell, God already had a plan for redemption. That's the grace of God. And that's the God we love. And they were banished. Banished out of Eden. Angels stood with guards with flaming swords so they could never return. The lesson. Family, Adam and Eve's story is not just for them, it's for us too. Every single day, the enemy whispers, did God really say? Every day we are faced with choices that can lead us closer to God or take us further from God. But the question is, are we going to trust God or fall for the same tricks of the enemy? It's really sad because Adam and Eve, they lost paradise with one choice. They didn't obey God. They weren't loyal to God. They didn't care about his warning. They didn't listen to him. They were perfect. But they chose to disobey God and listen to a snake. I wonder if God would have if he would have said to them in the beginning, don't eat from this tree, but not to tell them what that tree offered, maybe they wouldn't have eaten from the tree. I don't know, you guys. I'm just trying to make sense of it. They ruined everything for us, right? Adam and Eve, boy, I tell you. So today, don't play with temptation, you guys. Don't twist God's words like the serpent did. Don't let shame drive you from his presence. Run to God, not from God. Stay faithful to God. Stay loyal to God. That's all he wanted from Adam and Eve, was them to stay faithful and loyal to him. They could have had the world. They were in paradise and they were perfect. Just a little nugget. Jesus already paid the price to undo what happened in Eden. He already paid the price for it. When you think about Adam and Eve, don't think about the old story. Think of your own life. How it applies to your life. Think of your choices, your temptation. Who's getting in your ear whispering things to you that could ruin your life? Think of the traps the enemy tries to lay before you. You don't have to fall for the enemy's manipulation. Stand firm and stand strong. Trust God and live free.